Hello, and welcome to this review of the Somerset Sisters historical romance book series by Anna Bradley. I'm Olivia, your favorite resource for book recommendations you can easily screenshot, and you're watching Random Olive Reads. More or Less a Marchioness is book one of this series. Even though Iris is betrothed to an eligible marquis, she's unsure of his affections for her and contrives a situation where he'll kiss her. The ever proper Finn rejects the opportunity out of propriety, but we soon learn that he was trying to distract Iris from the unexpected presence of his former mistress. The naive Iris learns a few new things about her fiance and decides they won't suit after all. She's also realized that this prim and proper persona she's adopted is very different from her true personality, and she's determined to be herself from now on. Just as Iris is rejecting Finn, he's starting to appreciate her spark and possibly falling in love with her for real, and not just as a Marchioness contender. There is a lot of fun banter and flirting as these two reconnect, and he tries very hard to convince her to stay engaged to him. More or Less a Countess is book two of the series. This one is a blue stocking rake story with a little bit of mistaken identity thrown in the mix. Violet is semi-heartbroken when the guy she's pining over marries her friend, but she throws herself into writing a book instead, which contains all sorts of gory London history. Rakish Nick is back in London after his father's death and inheritance of an earldom, but he's not aiming to stay for long, except that his aunt is forcing him to marry and work on making an heir. When he sees a lovely young lady playing the piano so beautifully, he decides to court her. However, he thinks that he's courting the youngest sister, Hyacinth, but doesn't realize that he's actually been spending time with Violet and doesn't even know that Violet exists. She has tried her best to dissuade Nick, especially with his scandalous reputation, but then realizes that he's useful for escorting her around town to draw sketches for her book. Things get messy when they both develop feelings for each other, and the truth of Violet's identity comes out. I loved how Nick was actually really supportive of Violet's book and was impressed by her knowledge and cleverness instead of being put off by it. She's the one here who really needs to make up for her deceit, though. More or Less a Temptress by Anna Bradley is book three of the series. Frail and fragile youngest sister Hyacinth sees a brawl at an inn and then accuses the man of being a murderer when he shows up at a ball. Lachlan is not actually a murderer, but the secret brother of a marquess who has brought his younger brother and sister to England after their mother dies in Scotland. Luckily for everyone, the marquess, who is Finn, who we met in book one, acknowledges his new family members and hopes to smooth their way into society. Except that whole murder accusation is hovering around, and Hyacinth is the one who's outcast and known to be a hysterical female. While Hyacinth's family coddles her, Lachlan sees that she's actually quite cunning and brave if only she had the chance to show it. We get to see Hyacinth grow a backbone, especially around Lachlan, who does not treat her as delicately as everyone else. This was a super fun romance to read. So overall, this was another fun series from Anna Bradley centering around three sisters who are entering society. With the sponsorship of their grandmother, they've all got a chance at making good matches despite their upbringing in the country. Each story is pretty unique and has a lot of fun banter between our main characters. This series ties together with Bradley's previous two series, with these three being the younger sisters of the main female characters of the Sutherland series. It was a little bit odd to me that the eldest two sisters, Delia and Lily, from the previous series, were not mentioned much here, despite them presumably moving in the same social circles. If you read these as standalone, you probably wouldn't notice, but I kind of read them all in pretty quick succession. So the absence of the eldest sisters is a little bit strange considering Hyacinth's fragile status in society in book three of this series. Easily overlooked though, and still really fun to read. Thank you so much for watching this video. Links to all of these books are in the description box. Like and subscribe to get updates, and you can follow me on Instagram at randomolive.